and welcome to a new season of Conversations with. I'm your host, Leigh Toney, and we're delighted to have you back with us for a new season of exciting shows. And I'm really excited to have with me today one of my dearest friends and someone I've admired in the years that we've gotten to know each other, Nicole Vassiana. She's the founder of an exciting new company called Village Maternity Services. And her story and her journey to entrepreneurship is one that I think will be very familiar, but also very inspiring. So Nicole, delighted to have you here. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Good, good. Delighted. So this is a conversation, and we were just reflecting how we met. And I remembered you called me up and wanted to volunteer with a youth group that I was working with, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. Not a lot of people do that, and actually show up time and time again. So if I hadn't thanked you before, I'm thanking you now. For that help. But then soon after, you told me you had some other goals and ambitions.
Definitely. No, I mean, entrepreneurship has always been something close to my heart. Known for a very long time that I wanted to be entrepreneur, to work for myself. So it was something that I was excited to be a part of. But then, yeah, definitely after I had my son, it's like I had to make some changes. And so for me, going back to school to pursue nursing was a part of that. And I feel lucky and blessed that it not only allowed me to make those financial decisions and to be able to job, we gotta do that over again. Can cut that right there.
Okay, keep talking.
Okay, all right. So I'm glad, so my decision was to go back and to do nursing. And I did it for several reasons, because of also the financial independence it would afford me, but then also because it aligned with what I was now passionate about, and that was with working with women. Okay. So yeah.
Great. So I'm gonna back you up a little bit, because I want there's a point, your transition, I want you to kind of step us through that, because I think that's important, particularly for a lot of the students that watch our show. Okay. When we met, you already had a bachelor's degree.
Yes.
You've gone to school.
I went to school at FIU. I pursued psychology because I absolutely love the human mind, and I'm curious about why people do what they do. Is it environmental? Is it genetics? So I loved psychology. I did that at FIU, but then I went back and got my associates in nursing at Miami-Dade College. And I always tell people that I wish I sort of chose Miami-Dade from the very beginning. I would have saved myself a lot of time and student loans.
That's the part we want to get in. No, but that's a very interesting journey, because a lot of people think, I have this bachelor's degree, I need to make it work for me.
Right.
And I think it was the entrepreneur you in that realized, you know what, I can pivot.
Right.
I can pivot, add another skill set, take some time out, acquire another skill, another credential, and you went into nursing.
Absolutely, and I think it's the best decision. I wish I would have done it sooner. For me, I ran away from it because my mother's a nurse, and I was just not going to do that. Not going to be my mom, but it was definitely the best decision. I would not change that. So glad that I did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in nursing, you're doing what now?
So from the very beginning, I knew that I wanted to do women's services. I'm passionate about working with women, and I knew I wanted to work in maternity. So mother, baby, whether it was going to be OB at a doctor's office or in the hospital, labor delivery, I knew that I wanted to go through nursing school and then pursue working with women and infants.
So the reason we have you here today is because you founded your own company, Village Maternity Services. And from me watching you all the years, you didn't wait very long between finishing your nursing degree and starting your company.
Yes. So the funny thing is, everyone in my nursing school class knew that I wanted to do women and children, families. I wanted to do maternity. I wanted to do labor delivery. If it was going to be NICU, everyone knew I wanted to work with women, pregnant women. And everyone knew I wanted to be in business for myself. So it was no secret, you know. It was sort of like a means to an end. And also being able to work in the hospital, acquire the skill set that I needed to then take it and pivot, as you said, and do something on my own. So no, I didn't waste much time then deciding that I'm going to launch Village, not knowing what I was doing, but I was like, I'm going to go for it. And it's funny you say that, because I actually launched Village Maternity Services in between jobs. When I had graduated from my nursing program, I did it in conjunction with Baptist. And unfortunately, they let all of us go. We should have had jobs when we were graduated, but the economy was in the hole, you know, and so they let us go. I didn't have a job. I then actually found a part-time employment and then lost that job too. So here I am. I know I want to be in business for myself. I don't yet have all the skill set that I need to work in the industry that I want to work in. And I think that I launched Village Maternity Services as soon as I did because I was mad. I was upset that I proved myself. You know, I earned this scholarship, earned this sort of position, this place. You know, I thought I had security. You know, I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about anything. I already have a job once I graduate from school, and it just didn't work out that way.
Right.
So I was just like, you know what? I don't want to do corporate America anyways. I'm gonna launch out.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's what I would call failing forward, right? So most people would say, oh my God, 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Got fired from 2 jobs, pivoted, changed your whole life, went back to school in a field that many people feel was a safe field, and nurses, oh my God, you can work anywhere. Didn't quite pan out the way that people anticipate sometimes. But what you did, what I like to call failing forward, right? So you didn't go back. You launched out your own company. And so I want to make sure people, Village Maternity Services does what?
So we offer programs, we offer services. And so the goal is always to provide education and support for women and for families so they can make informed decisions. So I have my own viewpoints on pregnancy, on childbirth. But what I find is that most women, once they're given information, they're able to make decisions based on what's best for them. And so that's always my goal, is to provide you with a program, to provide you with a service, and then to support you. So during pregnancy, that may look like doula work. That may look like in-home private lactation courses. We also do courses online. Postpartum, you know, after baby's born, that may look like me coming to your bedside and working with you, lactation, helping you with breastfeeding, or meeting you in your home. So whatever the services or the program is that we've created, the goal, as I said, is the same, is to provide education and then to support women and families so they can make decisions based on what they want.
Fantastic, and you use a lot of words right there, doula, lactation, postpartum. We're gonna take a break.
Okay.
And then we come back, we're gonna tease out what each of those things mean. I mean, I think we're so accustomed to pregnant women and maternity that we think, what's there to do? It's been going on since the beginning of time. We know how to do this, but this is an emerging field in women's services, and one that I think we need to learn a lot more about. So we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more with Nicole Vasiana, the founder of Village Maternity Services. Stay with us.
Be creative. Be a hero. Be the solution. Be connected. Be innovative. Be global. Be successful. Be you. Be MDC. Be Miami-Dade College.
Welcome back to Conversations with. I'm Leigh Toney, and my guest today is Nicole Vasiana, founder of the Village Maternity Services. And before we went to break, we were using some terms that I thought we can do a kind of a lightning round, definition round. Your company provides doula services, which means?
So doula is basically a woman or person that supports. So basically, whether it's going to be a birth doula, so someone who's working with you during the pregnancy, and the goal is to be there with you during the childbirth process. She's just there to support, provide education, then support. You also have a postpartum doula. We'll talk about postpartum in a little bit. A postpartum doula comes in after a baby's been born, and she supports you during the time after baby's born. So helping with breastfeeding, helping with the lactation process. She's there to just give you some information and just to support you. Kind of like a sisterhood. We used to have this, you know,
yes.
When women gave birth, all the other women in the community would come and support her and be there for her during the childbirth and that period afterwards. And so doulas, in a sense, we're trying to bring that back, revive that sense of community and village.
Excellent, excellent. And what type of women are interested in these types of services while they're pregnant, after the baby's born? Because there's also postpartum depression that happens for more women than we realize.
Yes.
So what does your target market look like?
It varies, right? So I worked with a local company, and they they had free doula services, basically. So women who met certain criteria could get a doula. And you got, one of the doulas who were still learning, who weren't certified, et cetera, but you still had that support. So there are programs out there, and we see women who are even low income who want doula services. So it really is broad. It really depends on, what you want, what you can afford. It's really depend on what type of doula that you can get. But I find women across the spectrum really looking for these types of services.
And what is the field looking like generally? I mean, you've been in business now how long?
2.5, 3 years.
What changes have you noted from what you originally thought you would be doing to what you see happening in the field now?
So originally when I started this whole thing, I definitely had a sense of maybe feeling like I didn't belong because I felt as if a lot of the doulas that I saw were very quote unquote granola crunchy, right? Super duper all the way to the left.
Yes.
I compost and I wear my baby all the time. I don't have a job, and that's okay, but that just wasn't me. So at the time I felt as if maybe there was not a market for myself, or that women would not want to work with me because I could not identify with that. But as I said, I find it's definitely an emerging market, and I feel like there's so many different types of doulas and women that are looking for these services. So definitely now I feel as if there's more of an awareness about it. People like Erykah Badu, she's a doula, so she's bringing light to the industry and to the niche as well. So I see it expanding, especially here on the East Coast. If we look at the West Coast of the United States, like states like California, we see doulas working in hospitals. So it's a lot more mainstream, and we're not quite there yet, but I definitely feel as if we're heading in that direction.
Are you finding that most doulas like yourself have the formal training in some healthcare related field, nursing or other field as well? Do the two typically come together?
What I find, honestly, I would say no. What I find is that the majority of the women that I know that are doulas kind of got there because of personal experiences. Experiences such as myself as seeing that there was not a place, or they couldn't find that service in the market, and then they wanted to go ahead and be able to provide that service for other women. So I tend to, I don't see a lot of doulas that are nurses that have my experience and background, but I think that's a good thing.
And it's interesting you mentioned people like Erykah Badu, even one of the sister Tamara Mowley, I believe it was, or Tia Mowry, one of them had a doula as they were going through their pregnancy, and then on the other side of having babies, they created their own kind of company that provided a tea, was it, that helped women with lactation,
with breastfeeding
challenges. Yes, breastfeeding. So tell me about breastfeeding, because we see a lot about that on the news lately. And how can a doula, or how can a company like yours help women who are experiencing or want to breastfeed and are not quite clear about how to make the decision and what will be involved?
Okay, so I find that a lot of women want to breastfeed. We're very organic now. We're concerned about what we're eating, what we're putting in our bodies. So a lot of women are now translating that to their child. I want to offer the best. And breastfeeding is essentially the best that you can do for your baby. It's the healthiest. But what I find is a lot of women don't have the support. Like I said, that village is not there. So they face a lot of hurdles as far as understanding how breastfeeding works, because it looks completely different from formula feeding. So I find that a lot of women, like I said, don't have the support that they need. So a company like myself, a lactation counselor like myself, or a doula would work with you in the best case scenario during your pregnancy. It's kind of like once the baby's born, the baby's got to eat. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done beforehand, before you actually have the baby, just to understand it. And so a company like myself, as I said, would come in, we'll teach you. And then after you have the baby, during the postpartum period, we'll be there to support you, just to kind of support you so that you could meet that goal.
What are your desires for growth for your company?
Oh, Jesus Lord. Okay, so I have to take some increments, right? Because the end goal for me has always been to open that birth center. I couldn't find a birth center when I wanted to have my son. I feel as if we need to have more of them. So that's always the end goal, right? Having the birthing center, the place where women can come, they can have access to resources, they can take classes, and then we can reach out to schools such as Dade College and have, students come in who are doula students and midwife students and get clinical hours there. So I have this big grand, dream about what I want the village to be, 10, 15 years from now. But right now in the immediate time, for me, it's just it's providing and creating products. I love working with women online, and I love how technology affords me the ability to work with women just about anywhere. So definitely just creating more products for women so I can reach them where they are.
I can see even a lot of women who are executives, who are in the corporate environment, who are looking to, start a family, taking advantage of a service like yours, where you could come to their office or come to their home or meet for lunch. There seems like a lot of flexibility in the way that or online, as you just mentioned, and how you can deliver services and support women.
Yeah.
Is that what you're finding, or is that a goal?
Oh,
for the
definitely.
company?
It's exciting because, as you said, there's so many different platforms and different ways that I can service and meet your need. And when I first started off, I felt as if like I had to have a space. And so we had a space for a period of time. We were doing prenatal yoga, but I felt like I had to have that in order to feel official and to be respected. What I'm finding is that I don't need that. I meet with moms, at bedside at the hospital after they give birth, and I work with them there. I meet with moms in their home and do private consultations, or I meet with them online. Whether we're doing a webinar, we're doing a Skype session, answering questions, I'm guiding them through the process. There's so many different modalities that I can use to work with moms, so definitely just utilizing more of those modalities.
So leave a message for my students. We're going to wrap up the show.
Okay.
But yeah, the path, we've kind of talked about how you landed here and how you're on this journey and how you've had to pivot in different areas of the business and in your own life. And a lot of people think entrepreneurship is a trajectory, right? Open up, get a brick and mortar, get the key, hang out your shingle, and you're on a very clear path to success.
Right.
But tell them what it really like.
That's an absolute, it's so false, and that's a misnomer. It's not true at all. I would definitely tell any of your students to definitely start before they're ready, because this idea of I gotta wait till it's perfect, I have to wait till I have all of the skill set, you're never gonna get there. That happens along that path. You pick up skills, you pick up certain personality and characteristic traits, you gain that self-esteem through getting through different obstacles. So I would definitely tell them to not get discouraged. As you said, you have to be able to pivot, create your own opportunities, and as you're creating opportunities present themselves. So you definitely don't always know what the next step is going to be and how exactly you're going to get there. But once you have that goal in mind and you start to take those steps and to move forward, things start to unveil and open up for you.
So Nicole, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll close out and get you to give us some final thoughts and things that you can share with our students. So stay with us. We'll be right back from Conversations with Nicole Vassiano.
Be creative. Be a hero. Be the solution. Be connected. Be innovative. Be global. Be successful. Be you. Be MDC. Be Miami-Dade College.
Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole Vassiano, founder of Village Maternity Services. So Nicole, you're an entrepreneur.
Yep.
You have your own company, but you also are still working, and you're also a mother to a fun and bright 7-year-old, London. So let's go with the question that all women are asked.
Right.
Men are oddly never asked this question, but people are going to want to know, how are you balancing it all?
So there's this quote that I kind of rely on, and I'm paraphrasing this, something by T.D. Jakes, and he gets asked this question a lot, actually, because he's a pastor, he's got a family and all these businesses, and they ask him, how do you juggle it all? And what he says is, I fail every day. And what he says, though, is that I make it a point not to fail in the same area every day. So I've kind of taken that and really adapted it. So whereas in the beginning I was super duper laser focused, my company was my new baby, and it was all I focused on. It actually, caused some of my relationships to come to an end, unfortunately. But now I make it a point to look at that calendar. So make sure that my son knows that he is a priority, right? So if that means that I'm working 3 days, I schedule in Village Maternity throughout there, and I always make sure that I schedule time for him as well. So he's always on my calendar. That's like, for me, it's important. If I don't schedule it, it doesn't happen.
Yes.
So when I look at like a 2-week period on my calendar, I make sure that I do not go more than 2 weeks without putting something fun in there for him. So when we talk about balance, I think our idea of what balance looks like is skewed. My days aren't balanced. You know, like on a day-to-day basis, they're not balanced. Like I worked last night, I did 12-hour shift, I'm here this morning, I'm gonna sleep, then go back to work again tonight. That's not really balanced, not on a day-to-day basis. But when I look over the course of my week, of my month, I see where I've given time to everything. And for me, that just works by scheduling. So I think that this idea of balance is just, it's skewed. It's not, it's not real.
I think that's a really smart way to look at it. Look at it holistically.
Right.
And plan for it, right? What we plan for happens.
Exactly.
Generally. And the other thing that's going on, I think that's an opportune time for you, is that Miami seems to be in this hyper entrepreneurial state. And there are all these resources and services and supports and meetups and symposia, all focused on the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How does that, are you plugged into that? How are you finding that beneficial for your company? And it's really interesting because it's a lot of what we hear about Miami is focused on tech.
Yeah.
And you're not a tech company. So how are you experiencing all of this new focus on entrepreneurship?
Well, definitely. I've noticed there have been like a lot of pop-up shared spaces, and I'm not really plugged into them, but I think they're awesome, amazing concepts. And as you said, definitely like tech. You know, we see that coming up as well. I love Black Tech Week. That's something that I frequent. I'm looking forward to going again this year. But we're not really a tech company, so I don't feel as if I'm plugged in as much as possible. But my friends who are in tech, I attend their events and I take pieces from what they're doing, incorporate into what I'm doing. And so I utilize tech in my business to service my clients. A lot of how I'm able to brand myself has been through technology. And I think that without having that technology, that Village Maternity Services would not be, where we are today. And we're still got a long way to go, but we're definitely creating a name for ourselves, and we're doing that through utilizing tech, as I said, with the internet, with online, with marketing, Facebook ads marketing, all the different social media platforms, plugging into resources and apps and things like that to reach clients and to service them as well. So we're not a tech company, but I think any company in today's day and age that's not utilizing tech, you're dying. You're going to die.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the way I kind of keep up with you as well, because I'll see your videos that you pretty much shoot from anywhere. I've seen you in your car, I've seen you in
the park.
Set, in the park. And this is content that women can access as they go throughout their own equally busy and largely unbalanced lives. Right? Being able to get that content out there to your customers and potential customers lets them know what you have to offer.
And that's definitely what kind of sparked me creating some of the online programs that I've created, because myself, I love to absorb. I don't read as much as I should, but my alternative to that is Audible. And so being a busy mom, being a working woman, a lot of times they don't have time to necessarily sit down and read that book or come to your class. So it's like, okay, so how are you going to reach them where they are? And as you said, video is definitely, it's easily consumable, it's quick, it's entertaining, and so it's a great way to reach that target market. And also utilizing again that technology, you're able then to take that content and then spur it into something else. So recently I just did an online telesummit, right? It was something that just did spare the moment. I thought it'd be a cool idea. I was hoping like 5 different healthcare, maternity, infant specialists would come on and join me. We ended up having like 13 different women join us for this telesummit online. So basically I did sessions with all of them. We recorded our calls, and the women were able to tune in and listen into each one of those sessions, right? So then I have this one product that's this telesummit, 13 different speakers talking about pregnancy and childbirth, OBGYNs. But I have that content, I own it. I can do it whatever I want with it now, utilizing technology. I can turn that into an ebook. I can turn it into a podcast. I can turn it into so many different things. So as I said, that technology, we're not a technology company, but we're definitely utilizing it to grow.
But you use the technology to serve your company.
Definitely.
And that's the model, because I think a lot of people are under the belief that if I'm not a technology company, there's not as much out there for me, or I may not have anything to offer, or what I'm interested in doing may not have a market. And if you understand your market and you've put some time into researching it and developing the networks, and like you said, going to places that may not on their face seem like this is the place for a doula services company, there's always something to take away, right? So there's lifelong learning, there's exposure, there's interactions, and you never know if the networking can lead to another opportunity. And not content is the new gold standard, right? If you have content, like you said, you can wield it any way that you like. It's the moment of that telesummit, but also all of the after products that you can create from the content that's really high quality.
Content is king.
I think that's it is. Content is king. So I think that's a really important bullet point for aspiring and current entrepreneurs as a way to kind of have yourself in multiple different places that the consumer can take advantage of at opportunities and times that are convenient for them. Right? So like you said, the brick and mortar, I had a business too. I believe I had to have a brick and mortar. It was retail. And it was something you needed to do, right? It was something that's important and that informed you, and there is a market for that. That people will come in, walk into your door, take advantage of whatever your goods and services that you're offering. But there's a whole panoply of different options and ways in which we have to, if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to take advantage of all of these opportunities. That's exciting. I'm going to go back now and I'm going to listen to your telesummit. I missed that one, but I think that's very smart. Well, Nicole, it's a pleasure talking to you. I've been watching your company and the moves that you're making with your company, and really excited that we had a chance to sit down and have you on the show. And that you're a Miami-Dade College alum is just like the cherry on top. So thank you for spending time. Thanks for being with me on Conversations With, and we'll see you again in a few years, we hope, and we'll learn about what has happened in the interim and all the new and exciting opportunities for Village Maternity Services. I think there's a lot out there, and I think this is something like we've taken for granted. But really, it leads me to think that we're really going to reshape women's services. To include just more than the medical model. So I think the future is bright for you and for your company.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us.
Appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you very much. And thank you for tuning in to Conversations With. I'm your host, Leigh Toney. Stay with us. We'll have a new series of exciting shows for the season, and I hope you'll stay with us and be with us. Take care.